You guys ready? We good to go? I guess that's a yes, huh?
Yes.
Okay. We're here this morning because we want to announce a very innovative and we believe a important aspect to solving this issue that we're having with the violence in the schools. The key here is information flow and prevention. If you've listened to all of the recent town hall meetings, the meeting with the president, there's a lot of talk about how do you prevent it, how do you get the information to the right people. Because we want to prevent these things before we have to respond, before you have to have somebody in a school that's armed to take action. We want to stop them ahead of time. And we have verifiable proof that that can work because we've done it before. But in order for that information to get to the right people, there has to be a central place for the information to go, and there has to be certainty that that information is going to get to the right people. We know that it can't work if it goes to a federal agency who doesn't have the connection to the local agency to get the information there. So we have at the Sheriff's Office a StudentProtect app that we gave out to the public. We asked that company to develop an app that can be strictly tailored to the school system. It's called StudentProtect. Working with the school police and the superintendent of schools, this app is going to be given to the students and the parents at the schools free of charge. And on that app, they will be able to report mental health problems, bullying problems, social media problems, suspicious activity to the school police or their parents or the school staff, and that information will be channeled to the proper police people to do something about it. That's how it works. We had an incident the day after the thing in Broward where we got information from the school board that a 17-year-old that had been expelled from school was acting out. There was information that he could have a firearm. There was actually a video of him showing a firearm, and he made threats to the fact that he was going to go back down there and finish what the guy started because the guy stole his information on how to do it. The school board gave us that information. We worked together with the school board police. We were able to locate this individual. Our mental health unit at the Sheriff's Office, behavioral sciences unit, went there. We located the kid, the parents. We located the firearm, which turned out to be an air pistol, but we didn't know that at the time. And the kid was taken to mental health and Baker acted where he should have been. That's how it works. That's the perfect scenario of how it should work. That's what should have happened in Broward. If the information that the federal government had would have gone to the right people, maybe some action could have been taken where that horrible, horrible incident took place down there should have never happened. It could have been stopped. So we believe that this app, which is more than just an app, it's a very, very important piece of technology that will allow those students and the parents to connect to the right people, to keep this information in a central repository so it's not going in 10 different directions, and that information can be shared with the proper people to take corrective action and to take prevention so these things don't happen. So having said that, I'm going to let the school police chief, Larry Leon, make a couple comments.
I'm really appreciative for this opportunity because one, allows our students and their parents to have that technology opportunity to provide information to us, and it continues our partnership with the Sheriff's Office that we've had since I've been in place and even before, but it continues to allow us to grow and work together and incorporate to make sure that our communities are safe as well as their communities. So this is a fantastic opportunity for our students to have that technology ability to make contact with us immediately so we can verify and work together to look at what's happening and making sure we have a secure environment.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Superintendent.
Yeah, I just want to personally thank the sheriff. He has been a great friend of ours, school district, the children, the community, to keep us safe. But it's not just about police presence. We've got to be able to protect our kids, give them an opportunity to feel safe, and share information without worrying about where that information goes. I'm internally grateful for the partnership that we've had. This has been a really difficult time for our kids and families. People are scared. We had hundreds of folks come to our school board meeting last night talking about adding more police, and that's important. And we're going to be working on expanding our police department. But this is also about mental health, and it's about communities coming together and sharing information about things that are happening so we can prevent it. So the thing I want to say most of all is thank you. We've got an amazing sheriff here. Look how quickly this came to be. And on behalf of the school board and the over 200,000 kids, I just want to personally thank you for that.
You know, folks, it's not the total solution, but think about it for a minute. We've got great technique on how to respond to active shooters. We got personnel all over the place. We've got all the firepower we need, but we don't want to have to use that. We don't want to have to arm teachers or put more police in the schools to have to take action. It's just like with terrorist threats. Why do you think the federal government or local government wants that piece of intelligence information to stop the event before it happens? That's the idea here. We want to stop the event before it happens. So if the information can get to the right people to take the action necessary, that's how the prevention's going to work. Now, an important piece of this puzzle is the fact that here at the sheriff's office, we have a behavioral sciences unit. What that means is there's a deputy that's specially trained and educated and a mental health professional are teamed together. We have 5 of those teams. So they're trained to deal with mental health issues. If we come across a troubled student or a troubled individual out here that needs that type of counseling, that type of help, we can get them Baker acted. We can get them help. We can monitor them. Sending the information to the federal government, they don't have the ability to do that. A lot of them are short-staffed in the local areas, but then again, the information sharing is not that good. We saw that, that's what happened in Broward. So we're very, very excited about the fact that this information through this technology can get to the right people and the right resources can be brought to bear. So having said that, we'll take a few questions if you have them.
You can download it from the App Store directly? Or
Right there at the bottom is how you're going to get it. Now, right now, it's not available. We're working with Apple and the Google people and the Apple store to purchase it. So it's probably going to be midweek next week before you can actually go on and get it. But it's the same as getting every other app. There's 2 people here that I want to introduce. One of them is Roger Koch, and the other one is Joel Harris. He's here from StudentProtect. And if afterwards, if you want to get a little bit of the technical information on how it works, they'll give you a handout. They'll answer your questions. But the really nice part about it is, think about it. What do the kids like to do? They like to get on their phone, right? They like to talk to each other. They like to be anonymous. So this gives them anonymity. They don't have to identify themselves. They can report whatever they want to report. They can get information back to them about events that are happening. There's an emergency button on it that they can hit if there's an emergency in their school or something's happening, and that goes right to the local police department or jurisdiction of where the 911 call is going to go. So it's very user-friendly. It gives them the ability to report things that they may not want to pick up the phone and talk to people about. This way they can give us the information and it's going to be acted upon. Anybody else? Yes.
We saw in Broward the possibility of having Broward County Sheriff's Office deputies on campus. Is that something that's being discussed with Palm Beach County School District or Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office?
What we're very fortunate here is we have school police, and they have a big footprint in a lot of the schools. If in fact it's necessary on a school-by-school basis, the school police will call us and we'll send deputies there and stand by with them for as long as possible. I think that in the long run, it would be good for, and it's always about the budget, to ramp up the number of school police officers in the school. You know, there's a lot of talk about, you know, arming teachers, getting civilians and giving them training and sticking them in the schools. The concept of having an armed individual in the school to take action if something happens is a good concept. But in my estimation, and my experience doing this for 47 years, you need a trained law enforcement professional to do that. Just giving somebody 40 hours worth of training and handing them a gun is not going to be the answer. Believe me, folks, there's a big difference between shooting at a target and getting into a gunfight. I've been there 3 times. When somebody's shooting back at you, it's a whole different ball game. And if that's not your job and that's not your profession, things change. And I don't think we should put teachers in that position to have to take that responsibility. There was some talk at the president's meeting about taking the gun, locking it in a locker. If something happens, the teacher can go get the gun. It's too late. There's no go getting the gun. These things happen in 3 to 5 minutes. It's over with. You don't have time to go get a gun. You better have a trained law enforcement professional on that campus.
So I can add to that. I mean, we have 152 officers, sworn law enforcement. We're all certified. You know, we've been officers before. Other training involved, and our interactions with the students. We have active. I mean, we've been doing active shooter for a very long time because we are in the schools and we saw those issues occurring. Looking back at even Columbine and moving forward from there on changing how we do work and how we respond to those situations. We are, blending perspectives. We work with the administration because we have to be part of their safety team. And it's not all about just being law enforcement. We're mentors, counselors. We are the parent on that campus, and that's a huge role for our officers to take because it's the same officer on that campus the next day, and we may have a problem with a student and just working with that student. The next day he's there or she's there, we're still working with that student. So it's important that we have that. Plus, we reach out to our partners in the community, other, the sheriff and the other municipalities, and we work together. So it's very important. I can pick up the phone. It was very evident right after the incident occurred in Parkland. I picked up the phone, talked to the sheriff. We had other agencies involved. They were right there assisting us on the campuses to show the visibility that we are concerned about the safety of our campuses, knowing that we're moving around and dealing with the threats on Snapchat. We're focusing on isolating those individuals who are doing those and making those appropriate charges and what we can do with those because we've already done that. So it's important to know that it is a partnership with our other agencies. We have a fantastic partnership with the sheriff, as he has said. But like I said, we are on the ground. We're boots on the ground in the schools. Command staff or detectives are rolling through all of those schools as well. So we're visible. Yes, we need more officers to make sure that the community and the public are calm. But school is still the safest place to be.
Do you have plans to supplement that with deputies?
Not right now. There's 3 pieces to this puzzle, right? First and foremost, information flow.
Right.
That's what this is going to solve, without a doubt. The second piece is the mental health part of it. And the third piece is, what are you going to do to harden the schools so they're not soft targets? Right. Okay? So those are the 3 pieces. It's not a real complex issue when you boil it all down to that. So we're going to solve 2 of these pieces of the puzzle right here. The information flow, we're going to make it easy. We're going to make it safe for them. We're going to make it to where they can get that information to us. The second piece of the puzzle, we're already involved in it, which is the mental health aspect of it. And the third piece of the puzzle is going to be up to the school people on how they want to make their schools hard and not soft targets. So that's where we're at.
So where does
Yeah.
the information from the app get routed to?
It's going to go to the school police and the school administration.
Okay.
All right?
Then not the PDS.
That's the central repository, right? And then from there, he's going to decide, the school police will decide, where is it that they get resources to deal what they need to deal with, right? Is it in a local jurisdiction? Is it something the sheriff needs to get involved in? And at the end of the day, probably we're going to get involved in it because it involve some type of mental health issues. So the main idea is not to have helter-skelter information going all over the place. The federal government, some other jurisdiction, everybody's got an app. This way, we know where it's going to go, and we know something's going to be done about it. I guarantee you, after talking with the chief here and the school superintendent, it's not going to be one of those deals where they get a piece of information and they turn their back on it and don't act on it. It will be acted on. I'm very confident of that. And like I said, we've already got success stories. I can talk about 3 or 4 more of them. Right now, our mental health unit here at Behavioral Sciences Division is probably monitoring about 200 people out in the community that you don't even know about. People that have gotten out of the jail that got issues out here. We handle 10 to 12 mental health calls a day, 3,700 a year, right? The mental health issue is real. I've told people before, I'm the biggest mental health provider in this county, right here in the jail. And that's pretty sad. So that component of it's very important, and we're addressing that particular situation. So I think that this is a very good start. It's not the total answer, But I think that the students and the parents are going to be very comfortable with the fact that they got a place to send that
May I add
information.
one thing to Andrew?
Yep.
Andrew, one of the things that's really important to us from a school's perspective is training our principals. We're going to be creating some videos and posters and other things to make parents aware of the app and driving them to use this as the most important way to get information to
You're going to
us.
see that poster in the schools. We're going to make sure that all 193 schools are going to have posters in it to tell people how to get the app and the information.
Can I ask another question? I just required Dr. Rose about the same issue about arming teachers. Do you have thoughts on that? Dr. Rose about that?
I 100% agree with the sheriff's position on the fact that we need to have a police officer in every school, and in some cases, multiple police officers, given the size and scope. One of the things that's different here is because the buildings, many of them were built a long time ago before we had to deal with this, we have open campuses. So we're going back now. We've asked every principal to provide an assessment of any fencing issues and any other hardening tactics that we need to put in place. We also have about $40 million of the half-penny sales tax that was already part of refreshing and renewing videos and hardening of front doors, as well as single points of entry.
Are you guys concerned about this being used or being abused or used for swatting or anything like that?
Well, there's the emergency part of it has a fail-safe. The mechanics of it, I'll let you talk to them about. But even if they hit the emergency button, there's a second button that they've got to use on there. And I mean, to be quite honest with you, the school people and the state attorney's office and us have been very clear on this. If you make false reports, if you think it's a joke and you call something in that's going to cause us to take our resources and go do what we have to do, the penalty is going to be severe. We're going to charge you. We're going to arrest you. And if you're a student in that school, you won't be back to that school. You'll be expelled.
How are those police officers that are in school now, how are they armed? And would there be consideration for including more arms in their arsenal, I guess?
Everyone is a police officer, fully trained. What you see on patrol is the same as what you see with us. We're not any different. Ours say school district. We work for the school district. Our jurisdiction is on school district grounds, including the property of school buses. But we have ability to, situations that are on the campus, to go off the campus and work with our partners. But we're full certified. We have been an accredited agency since 2003, which is very important because it talks about our integrity that we have. So, like I said, we're a fully certified police department recognized for our abilities.
So the weapon that you carry or a police officer would carry, school police officer would carry is what?
Their firearm on their side and plus whatever in the force continuum that they have. We also have officers who are mobile that are, that have the other appropriate equipment as needed. Long rifles, we have, a multitude of those as well.
So there are already school police officers who have not only weapons but access to rifles and other.
Yes, we are. We look at our needs and we get what we are to make sure our community is safe and our officers are safe. So they're given the equipment that they're needed to do their job.
Yep, but our goal, again, is not to get to that point.
Before.
That's why the information flow and what the action you take with that information is so important, so we don't have to get to that. What do you think, turn your head back a little bit about what's going on in the world and the United States with terrorist threats. The reason the terrorist activities have diminished in a lot of places is because the authorities have got intelligence information good enough to where they can get the bad guys ahead of time. That's what it's all about. That was the See Something, Say Something program. That's why you do it in your communities. That's why the federal government makes it, so important for that to happen, is to gather the intelligence information so they can get the guys before the terrorist event. So that's our goal here. Get the information, take preventive action before you have to do the rest. That's the goal. And I think we can meet it here. Thanks for being here, folks. The other people will hang around for a minute afterwards for technical information, but I think this is a very, very good first step, and hopefully something bad like this won't happen again. And I think that, with what the students are doing, I got to commend them for that, going where they're going and making the noise that they're making. I'm hoping that if they're making enough noise, somebody's going to listen to them. Thanks.
Thank you.
Chief, that's the same question about the armed teachers proposal. Thoughts on that?
I'm law enforcement, and that's why I'd rather have law enforcement officer ability to make the right to take action.
So better have a lot of arms than teachers.
There's a couple on the paper.
I think you, oh, thank you, thanks.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Koch?
Just like run us through more or less what the app is.
So again, I'm Roger Koch, I'm with Shield Group Technologies. We're the ones that developed the StudentProtect app that the sheriff's been using for about 3 years now. It's proven, it works great. This is a spin-off of it, and that's what StudentProtect is. StudentProtect works with the same geo-targeting, geo-locating abilities that we have for StudentProtect. So when a student or a parent sends in an anonymous tip, which again, they can put it in to the system, either identifying themselves or doing it anonymously, we will know exactly where they sent it in from. We get asked the question all the time, if someone sends an anonymous tip in, can the police board for the schools or the sheriff be able to actually identify the person? Is there some back way to do it? There is not. So when students or parents send something in, it will be truly anonymous if they choose to send it in anonymously.
But you know through what phone it came out.
No, we don't. We know the area it came from, but not what phone. We know the spot it came from, but not the identifiers on the phone.
Are there any student-specific features that differentiate this app from the?
There is. The number one thing is the bullying thing. So if students want to report something that's bullying, it goes to the school board, and they will be able to direct it to that individual school to be able to have them deal with it. So again, it's different levels of where this gets routed, and the back end of this, which is really the important and the technical side of this that really makes this thing work well, is how it routes this information, who receives it.
It's intended for students from what grade up?
It can be for anything. We really focused on middle school through high school, but obviously elementary schools and bullying, it's happening there also.
What are the big advantages of this sort of like a phone tip hotline?
The big advantage is the back end and where this information goes. It's how we have it tied in and how it's routed. So that's the big advantage of it. And it's one central place. It's one place that we really want students and parents to be able to use.
How does it get routed? Does it go into the police department like?
It goes into the school's police department, and they decide where it goes from there.
Okay, it comes in as like an email that shows the text of the.
Basically,
line?
yes. Basically, it comes in from the back end, and it shows the exact location of where it came from, and it shows the written text for it. And from there, the police department for the schools has someone that's dedicated to read those, and they will be routing them.
And pictures come in as well.
Obviously, pictures, videos, all of that comes in. Thank you, Chair.
It's like a fixed console, or it's like goes to multiple email addresses. Can you describe that a little more?
Depends on how they set it up.
Yeah, it depends how it's all set up.
How's that typically done?
It-
What's a normal setup?
Well, again, it's all done with the school board. We work with them to decide it. It's not something we actually make public.
It's an operational issue.
Yeah.
That would be something to discuss. Like, for example,
Exactly.
with the sheriff's office, it goes to one location, it gets dispersed from there.
Correct.
And how many school districts are you operating with currently?
We're in this school district. We've rolled it out. We're also in a couple locations in Virginia. Yeah,
And the users pretty much are students, parents, and staff.
that's
Those are
that's
the
correct.
three main-
Those three things, correct. And we do want staff to use it also, because there are teachers that want to report some things anonymously also, and they can do it.
Roger, you would say anybody who downloads the app can use it.
That is true. True. So that means, again, if you don't have a student, but you live in a neighborhood and you see something that is happening with students, even though you don't have a child, you can download the app and be able to report information also. So anybody can use it. It's a free technology to download.
So you said a couple of school districts in Virginia. Those anywhere else in the country?
No, just these. Okay. And
You're
yeah,
just waiting on approval from Google.
we are. That's correct.
So it will be available from next week on.
That's correct. Right. If you go to this website link right now, you actually can register to have it emailed to you when it actually is released. So if you want to go to this website address, there's a way to put your email address in there, and then the system will email you once it's released, and you can download it. And it will be available on any Android or iPhone device. Okay.
More questions?
All right. I'll be over here if anybody needs anything else. Thank you.